It's time for math practice with Miss Flaherty. Here's what you'll need: a blank piece of paper and a pencil and an eraser. Feel free to pause and rewind the video as much as you'd like to work at your own speed. So today in math practice, we are going to be practicing ordering numbers. So before we get started, there's some important vocabulary that we need to remember as mathematicians. The first term that you're going to see is greatest. What does the math vocabulary word greatest mean? Good, I gave you a hint because I wrote it in really big letters. Greatest means that something has more value than something else, or something has bigger value. The next word is least. What does that word mean? You got it, I gave you a hint too. I wrote it really small. Least means something that has less value or smaller value. And place value. When we put numbers in order, we have to compare and look at place value to help us decide. So when I say place value, I mean the hundreds place, the tens place, the ones place, and what each of those places is worth. So when we are putting numbers in order, it's important for us to think about which place value we should look at in a number first. So I want you to think, where should we always look in our numbers first when we're deciding which order to put them in? Good. We should always look at the biggest place value first. And in most of our numbers, that's the hundreds place. That will help us decide if that number is less or if that number is greater. Where should we look next? Good. If two numbers have the same value in the hundreds place, we can still decide which one's greater and which one's less by looking at the tens place. And if a number has the same value in the hundreds and the same value in the tens place, where should we look as our tiebreaker? Good. Last, we should compare what's in the ones place. So you'll hear me talking about those place values a lot today as we decide what order to put our numbers in. So here's our first challenge. It says, put the following numbers in order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and read those numbers the first grade way. 221, 212, 23, and 111. What does it mean to put the numbers in order from least to greatest? Good. That means we want to put our smallest value first and our biggest value last. Okay, go ahead and on your paper, you can draw 4 lines. I want you to try to put these 4 numbers in order from least to greatest. Awesome, let's get started together. So when I'm deciding which number is the least or the smallest, I want to check out the hundreds place first. I want to find the number that has the smallest number of hundreds. So which number here was the least or the smallest? Good. If you notice that 23 doesn't have any hundreds, that makes it the smallest or the least, and you did a great job. So I'm going to write 23. And to keep organized, I always put a check mark when I've added a number to my list. Okay, what's the next smallest or the next least number? Good. I'm looking at my hundreds places and I see that one of these numbers only has 100. So I know that 111 comes next. And check. Okay. What's the next least number? I noticed that both of these numbers have 2 in the hundreds place. Where should I look next to decide which is smaller? Good. I should look in the tens place. Which of these doesn't have as many tens? Good. 212. It only has one 10. So I'm going to write 212 on my list next. Check. So what is the greatest number in this list? 221. Nice work, friends. Okay, so here's your next challenge. Put the following numbers in order from greatest to least: 840, 841, 84, and 499. What does it mean to put numbers in order from greatest to least? Good, that means the biggest number should come first and the smallest number should come last. Okay, go ahead and take a few minutes to put these numbers in order from greatest to least. Okay, so you can check your work alongside Miss Flaherty. So if I'm deciding what number is the greatest, I definitely want to look at my biggest place value first. I want to look at the hundreds place. Which of these numbers has the most hundreds? I see two numbers that have 800s, 840 and 841. Okay, let's look at the tens place. Uh-oh, they both have four tens. So where should I look to decide which one is greater? Good, I should check out that ones place. Oh, I know that 841 is greater than 840 because it has 800s, four tens, but it also has one one. So I'm going to write that number first. That's our greatest number. And check it off on your list. So I know that 840 goes next because it also had 800s and four tens. Check. Which number is the next greatest? Good. 499 comes next because it has four hundreds. That's pretty big. And which is the least or smallest value in our list? Good. Little 84 doesn't have any hundreds because 84 is smaller than 100. Okay, and here is your last challenge. Put the following numbers in order from least to greatest: 99, 200, 199, and 77. What does it mean to put them in order from least to greatest? Good, that means put the smallest number first and the biggest number last. Okay, go ahead and put your numbers in order. Okay, you can check your work alongside Miss Flaherty. So I always want to check out the hundreds place first. Well, 99 doesn't have anything in the hundreds place. It's smaller than 100. This has 200s. This has 100. Oh, and 77 doesn't have any hundreds. It's smaller. So which of these is the smallest or least value? Good. 77 is the smallest because it doesn't have any hundreds and it only has 7 tens. Okay, so what's next? Good. Next is the number 99. That has more tens, but it still doesn't have any hundreds. Okay, what's next? I see this has 200s and this has 100. I want to pick the value that's smaller. So I'm going with 199. Excuse me. And which of these values is the greatest? Good. 200 was our greatest value. Give yourself a big old smiley face on your paper if you did a great job. Nice work, first grade.